I know my boundaries. I want to fight Anthony Joshua exclusive because I know that I will beat Anthony Joshua's ass. I know
he just got knocked out, right?
Yeah. He doesn't have a chin and he has no skill and he's stiff. And I love you, Anthony. We're friends. All this, but I want to fight you.
AJ this morning, he went, listen, of course, I'd fight. I mean, you know, if the question was asked to Jai, would you fight Jake Paul? And there was...
I wouldn't fight him, I'd bash him.
Yeah, but he might do it. He might just do it for, you know, just for doing it for the sake of it. But obviously, we know. Listen, Jake creates massive events.
Look into the camera and say it directly because it just has to be said. Jake Paul, sir, you are absolutely delusional.
Jake Paul has been openly expressing his desire to face top-tier boxers, and now Anthony Joshua has responded. During a conversation with his promoter, Eddie Hearn, Joshua simply stated, "Listen, I'd fight him." Hearn shared this revelation, emphasizing that AJ is not one to shy away from a challenge. While a fight between the two seems improbable due to the significant difference in experience, Joshua's openness to the idea has certainly piqued interest. Whether Paul is genuinely seeking a tough match or simply stirring up hype remains unclear. However, AJ's response sends a clear message: he's always ready to step up.
We're here, I want to ask you a question because the world of media went mental this morning. Anthony Joshua against Jake Paul. Please put this to bed or light the fire. What's going on?
I mean, sorry. This is the first time I've spoken about the fight. To be honest, like, I look at it and I think Jake Paul against Anthony Joshua. I mean, look, for me, we'll do it for the banter. Do you know what I mean? Like, AJ would fight Jake Paul. He'd fight anyone, to be honest with you. And if Jake Paul wants to step up and fight Anthony Joshua, he'll need the relevant insurance. But, you know, the only thing that was disappointing was he says 2026. I mean, that's like calling someone out. That's like me saying, you know, LA Olympics for the surfing, 2028, I'll be there. Do you know what I mean? Do it in 2025 if you really want to do it. You're not going to get really much better at this stage, but I don't know, those two have spoken. I spoke to AJ this morning, he went, listen, of course, I'd fight. I mean, you know, if the question was asked to Jai, would you fight Jake Paul? And there was...
I wouldn't fight him, I'd bash him.
Yeah, but he might do it. He might just do it for, you know, just for doing it for the sake of it. But obviously, we know. Listen, Jake creates massive events, right? You know that's going to create like unbelievable viewership, and no disrespect to Jake Paul, it's a straightforward night's work. But you know, I like this calling out of Canelo and all this. AJ it's another challenge up there. But you know, if they're game, why not?
What did he say, AJ, to you about it?
He said, why not? I said, what do you want me to say when I'm asked about it? And he said, tell everyone I'll fight anyone, anytime. It's not a problem for me.
Jake Paul has set his sights on Anthony Joshua, boldly claiming that AJ has no chin, no skills, and is stiff. The YouTuber turned boxer took to Twitter, sharing a photo of Joshua on a phone call with the caption, "Look who called 2026, Anthony Joshua." Paul has been vocal about his confidence in defeating the former heavyweight champion, sparking widespread speculation. On the other hand, Anthony Joshua added fuel to the fire by posting a screenshot on his Instagram account, showing a moment when he was on a call with Jake Paul. This post came shortly after Paul publicly called him out, insisting he would beat Joshua in a boxing match. The social media back and forth has only intensified fan speculation about a potential clash between the seasoned heavyweight champion and the internet sensation turned boxer. Meanwhile, Jake Paul shared a post from Vafa Sports, which revealed, Jake Paul sent me his list of desired fights for 2025 and 2026 on February 10th, 3 days after the Canelo matchup fell apart. On that list were 6 fighters, one of whom was Anthony Joshua. I called Jake to confirm he was serious, and unequivocally, he was. 2026. The boxing community and fans have been quick to weigh in on Paul's challenge to Joshua. Many view his ambition to take on a seasoned heavyweight like AJ as unrealistic and overly ambitious, questioning whether Paul is truly ready for such a high-stakes fight.
Respond to me as I tweeted my thoughts about delusion, which again, I think is more about what Jake said about Anthony Joshua and what he'll do to him. That was the more delusional aspect of this. Amanda Serrano said, "Jake Paul is the truth." Funny, they say he's a fraud for wanting easy fights, then he asked for the toughest fights ever, and they say he's nuts. Listen, he was scheduled to fight Canelo Gervonta, and now he's calling out Joshua. Come on, who else is doing this? Oh crap, on second thought, he is out of his freaking mind, you're right. That was more of just Amanda backing her guy, you know what I'm saying, the co-founder of MVP and someone that she really respects. And
adding another layer to Jake Paul's boxing pursuits, reports indicate that he is also slated to fight Gervonta Tank Davis. This development comes in the wake of Davis's recent controversial bout against Lamont Roach. Despite this potential matchup, Paul has continued to publicly voice his desire to face Anthony Joshua, showcasing his ambition to challenge high-profile opponents across various weight classes. This dual focus highlights Paul's determination to make waves in the boxing world, regardless of the weight divisions involved.
Gervonta Davis, and she's not the only one saying that. Dan Rafael said the same thing earlier that day or maybe yesterday. I can't believe that that's true or if that was really going to happen. Essentially, the idea being, had Gervonta Davis beat Lamont Roach, he was going to fight Jake Paul next. And this is why I say, like, it's delusional, but it's possible. Like, he almost had the Canelo fight, and think what you will about how that went down and how realistic that was going to be. I legit think it was probably close to happening. Now you're telling me there were discussions and potentially, signed to fight Gervonta Tank Davis. And again, I do believe the reason for that is Jake's massive size advantage. Again, that's like a 100-pound weight advantage. How would that even work?
Following his fight with Lamont Roach, Gervonta Tank Davis seized the moment to call out Jake Paul during the post-fight press conference. This surprising challenge adds yet another twist to the ongoing story of Jake Paul's boxing journey, further fueling the intrigue and speculation surrounding his next moves in the sport.
Gonna call out. What was the plan originally?
I think he was here. He came in my locker room.
Shakur Stevenson?
He wasn't in my locker room.
Jake Paul?
Next question.
Man, god damn, that's not the Gervonta I know.
Jake Paul's bold call-out of Anthony Joshua, a two-time unified heavyweight champion, has left the boxing world stunned. Many observers are amazed that Paul, despite his relatively limited experience in the ring, would make such daring claims about taking on a fighter of Joshua's elite stature. This audacious move has sparked widespread debate and skepticism among fans and experts alike.
Paul has just called Anthony Joshua out. Yes, Anthony Joshua, AJ, the two-time unified heavyweight champion of the world. This brother called this man out. Oh my God. Now, in a recent clip on Jake Paul's podcast, I think, he basically said that he will beat Anthony Joshua's ass and he has no skill, no chin, and he's too stiff for him. He also apologized to Anthony, saying, Anthony, I'm sorry, we're friends, but I know I can beat your ass. This guy is tapped in the head. Then again, he almost got a fight with Tank. If Tank beat Lamont Roach when they drew, he would have fought Jake Paul. It was lined up, basically. A lot of people get mad when people say he's the face of boxing. These highly rated boxers want to fight Jake Paul. So, I don't know what to say, honestly. But one thing for sure, AJ will never fight. AJ is too classy for that. Way too classy. He respects the sport of boxing too much to fight this guy. Absolute plonker. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments, and make sure you follow for the most up-to-date and sharpest boxing news and content on
The boxing community has wasted no time reacting to Jake Paul's comments about Anthony Joshua. Critics have pointed to Paul's previous loss to Tommy Fury, casting doubt on his credibility in evaluating Joshua's skills. One Twitter user, Unanimous Decision, summed up the skepticism, tweeting, *YouTube boxer Jake Paul, who lost to Tommy Fury, says heavyweight Anthony Joshua has no chin, no skill, is stiff, and that he would beat him. What the hell is this guy talking about? Despite the backlash, Anthony Joshua has shown a surprising openness to Paul's challenge. According to his promoter, Eddie Hearn, Joshua responded to the call-out by simply stating, *Listen, I'd fight him. While this suggests Joshua's willingness to entertain the idea, many in the boxing world view the potential matchup as highly unrealistic, citing the vast gap in experience and skill between the two fighters. Some observers have even described the prospect of such a fight as delusional, questioning whether the bout would be legitimate or competitive in any meaningful way.
Well then, it looks like Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul might be in discussions to fight. They were both on a call to each other earlier, and the viral video went round of Jake Paul saying he would knock out Anthony Joshua. If I'm being completely honest, I think Jake Paul would actually be lucky to make it out alive, and I'm actually being dead serious. I think Jake Paul would be lucky to make it out of the ring with Anthony Joshua alive. Tyron Woodley literally had Jake Paul on skates and had Jake Paul panicking for his life. Imagine what Anthony Joshua would do. Look at what Joshua did to the last non-boxer he fought in, Francis Ngannou. That is not going to end well for Jake Paul. But look, let's be real here. This fight should never happen. It's an absolute disgrace to the sport if it does. And yeah, there's got to be a lot of backlash if this actually happens, because it's actually probably worse to the sport of boxing than what Fury and Ngannou was when it came around, or, you know, yeah, or Mayweather-McGregor. Like, you know, it can't happen.
MMA fighter Anthony Smith has weighed in on Jake Paul's approach to boxing, suggesting that Paul strategically targets legendary fighters to secure lucrative paydays. Smith believes Paul's tactic involves provoking well-known names through trash talk, ultimately setting the stage for high-profile bouts that deliver substantial financial rewards. This perspective echoes broader observations about Paul's matchmaking decisions, which often involve older or less active fighters, a strategy that has drawn criticism from boxing purists who question the competitiveness and integrity of such matchups.
Jake Paul beats Anderson Silva. We should all fucking boycott the rest of his fights until he fucking fights someone that's on his level, or whatever level we deem him to be on. You talk all this shit about MMA fighters, you talk shit about the UFC, then you pretend that you want to bring fighters up and you want everyone to get paid better, but then you trash everyone every time they fight. Now we're putting food on your fucking table for you to drag our legends, older, shorter, smaller, past their prime legends that have spent their entire careers running their bodies into fucking car accidents, and then we hold these guys near and dear to our heart. And then this fuckhead just pulls them out of fucking semi-retirement and then just knocks them out in fucking pay-per-view, and then she'll shits on all of us. Like, go fuck yourself. Like, why are we still fucking pandering to this piece of shit?
Jake Paul's ambitions aren't confined to boxing. He has also expressed a desire to step into the ring or cage with MMA star Conor McGregor. Paul has argued that his boxing skills are on the rise, while claiming that McGregor's abilities have diminished with age. This bold assertion has been met with widespread skepticism, given McGregor's extensive combat sports experience and impressive track record. Paul's comments highlight his trademark confidence and his ongoing strategy of calling out high-profile athletes to boost his own reputation and standing in the world of combat sports.
McGregor's done.
I think he has to come back and fight, but he needs to win.
Will he fight you?
I don't think he will. I think my skill level is outgrowing his in boxing, and I have the height advantage. He can't beat me, and I think he probably knows that. And time, he's only getting older, and I'm only.
Many fans are eagerly anticipating a potential fight between Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul, primarily because they believe Joshua would dominate and humble Paul in the ring. Paul's track record of calling out elite fighters and declaring superiority over them has cemented his status as one of the most polarizing figures in combat sports. However, many fans view his confidence in challenging Joshua as unrealistic, given the significant disparities in experience, skill, and weight class. Despite these doubts, the possibility of a matchup has sparked immense interest, with some fans hoping Joshua would step into the ring to silence Paul's bold claims once and for all.
You have got to be taking the mick. Jake Paul has called out Anthony Joshua and claims, "I will fucking beat Anthony Joshua's ass." You know what? I want this to happen, just so Anthony Joshua could just absolutely decimate this man right here. So first he fights Tommy Fury, a legitimate professional boxer, and he loses. Then he fights an OAP and Mike Tyson and beats him. Obviously, he's nearly 60 years old. Then he goes to try and fight Canelo, which fell through, thankfully. Then he tried to fight Tank Davis, which again fell through. And now he wants to fight Anthony Joshua, a legit world-level heavyweight boxer. Anthony Joshua is someone that I've always looked up to and probably one of my favourite boxers to this day and age. Don't get me wrong, I don't mind Jake Paul here and there, but there's just things he does in the sport that I don't agree with at all. And fighting Anthony Joshua, listen, I'm all here for it, just to see him get knocked clean out. But the fact that he thinks he can compete with these high-level boxers, even though he lost to Tommy Fury, is just laughable. But how long does it take for Anthony Joshua to knock Jake Paul out? I'm saying 5 seconds.
Anthony Joshua has finally shared his thoughts on Jake Paul's rising influence in boxing. While Joshua pointed out that Paul lacks the seasoned experience of a traditional boxer, he acknowledged that Paul has been beneficial for the sport in terms of driving financial success and creating lucrative opportunities. Joshua noted that Paul's knack for generating attention and selling fights has attracted a fresh audience to boxing, a contribution that, despite its value, may not always sit well with traditional boxing purists.
Jake Paul?
Yeah, good. Great for boxing. Good luck to him. He's trying. Zero amateur experience. Throwing himself in the deep end. I guarantee you he'll probably learn a lot more than a lot of fighters will that are just half-hearted with it. Man's throwing himself in the deep end, putting himself under pressure. You know, when you can deal with that amount of pressure, you have to get better at it. So yeah, good luck to him. Good luck.
Interestingly, Jake Paul has long been an admirer of Anthony Joshua, even referring to him as one of his favorite fighters. Despite his recent provocative comments, Paul has previously commended Joshua for his achievements and boxing prowess. However, his latest remarks reveal a sense of frustration with the boxing industry, as he criticizes the excessive focus on money and politics, arguing that these factors often prevent the biggest and most exciting fights from materializing.
Everyone's been wanting to see happen. Who will be the king of the United Kingdom? And who will be the queen of the United... Too soon? I'm praying that boxing doesn't happen to this fight, and what I mean by that is politics, people trying to take more money than they deserve. Fuck the money, get in there, make fucking history. This is one of the biggest fights that could happen over this past decade. Make it fucking happen, Eddie Hearn. Make it fucking happen, Frank Warren. Make it happen, Tyson. Make it happen, Anthony Joshua. We don't need fucking excuses. Don't let boxing ruin this fight. Get in the fucking ring and fight like men.
Jake Paul has made the bold claim that he is the only real fighter in boxing, asserting that he is the one who genuinely brings excitement and energy to the sport. While some traditional boxers outright dismiss YouTube boxing, Anthony Joshua has adopted a more measured perspective. He has acknowledged that YouTube boxing has been a positive force for the sport, attracting a new audience and boosting overall viewership. Joshua recognizes that figures like Jake Paul have played a role in introducing boxing to younger fans who might not have engaged with the sport otherwise.
Look at this YouTube.
10 out of 10. I'm telling you, it's good for boxing because it's showing people you can fight someone that is well-known, credible, can fight, marketable, without a championship, and have that same effect early on in your career, and you can still get all the rewards anyway. So I think that they're showing guys, oh, hang on a minute, there's so much potential in boxing regardless of championships, and I think it's good because now people start taking more risks early on. These guys coming into the game are changing the landscape for the better, showcasing that if you have a business mind on, marketable, creative, content driven, obviously talented, you can generate big business and do great things.
Jake Paul has developed a pattern of calling out boxing legends, offering them lucrative paydays, and then engaging in trash talk after their fights. Despite suffering his first professional loss against Tommy Fury, Paul remains determined to position himself as the biggest attraction in boxing, maintaining his reputation as a polarizing and attention-grabbing figure in the sport.
Who is the most power you've ever felt in a fight?
I would say Tommy Fury. It's the shots you don't see, so Tommy was a little tricky. Mike's punches I could see coming. He was strong, but he didn't land anything clean, so I honestly didn't feel Mike Tyson's full power, but that's good. I mean, you don't want to, so.
I feel like he lost confidence second round. Like he stopped giving his all.
He just started.
One of the most contentious moments in Jake Paul's career came when he called out Mike Tyson, the former heavyweight champion and one of the most intimidating figures in boxing history. At the time, Tyson was widely regarded as being well past his prime, making Paul's challenge seem particularly audacious. Although Paul later secured a decision victory in a separate fight, the backlash from fans was severe. Many were outraged, viewing his call-out as a disrespectful move that undermined the legacy of one of boxing's all-time greats. The incident only added to the polarizing nature of Paul's approach to the sport.
Tyson-Jake fight, wasn't that amazing?
Yeah. It's amazing they got paid so much money for that.
25 million and 40 million?
I think 20 and 40. Yeah, I think that's what I'd heard. You know, which I'm happy Mike got the money, and I'm happy that he didn't get hurt. That was my fear, that it was going to be a real fight and he was going to get hurt.
You've known him for a long time. I've known him for a long time.
I love that dude.
Me too.
And he was a larger-than-life figure in my childhood.
Truly, me
when
too.
I was a kid, when he was the champ, it was like, people don't understand what a champ he was. Like, he wasn't just the heavyweight champ of the world, he was an executioner. Like,
Truly.
Every fight was just a matter of how long was it going to last.
Which fight it was that I went to go see a couple of fights, and I actually went to go see Julio Cesar Chavez fight, and that's when I met Tyson in the green room.
Watching Netflix on Friday night, Jake Paul, Mike Tyson?
Yes, I was. But what did I make of it? I think commercially and a business sense, I thought it was absolutely fantastic. Both men made a ton of money. So best of luck to them, congratulations. As far as the boxing fight, it wasn't a fight, it was a tip and tap, don't hit me, I won't hit you. Circle the ring a little bit, make it look good. That's all it was. So I don't really make too much of it.
That wraps up today's video. Stay tuned for more.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. For more exciting videos, make sure to hit the bell icon and stay updated. Subscribe to Boxing Hub now for all the latest in boxing.